Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @Pless. Right now, Bookmap is having a couple of competitions. First of all, the Blue Jacket competition that began on June 10th. Here's the link for more information. Also, you can scan this QR code for more information as well. So that's the Blue Jacket competition that began on June 10th. Also, the crypto competition began on June 10th, goes to the 13th of June. There's the link, and you can also scan the QR code for more information. So those are the two competitions that Bookmap has going on right now. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach for trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, and certainly the large cap tech stocks like the Mag 7 stocks that I follow and trade, as well as the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index. SPY is the ETF version of that index, and the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index, QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades, and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset, and depending on that asset, setups can be taken with futures, shares of stock, or options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel as well as YouTube chat for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. And hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hello, everyone else. Welcome. Glad you're here as well. Here's my agenda for today, Wednesday, June 12th. A couple of key news items today. So I'll go over news items for today and the rest of the week. Then I'll go over my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups if we have time. And then I'll take a look at the live market. And of course, the FOMC announcement is out at 2 p.m. and I will go to the live market no matter where I am in this agenda at 2 p.m. and we'll watch the live market. All right, let's get started with news items. So first of all, today, CPI data came out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is from Financial Juice, showing that CPI data came in lower than expected, lower than previous for the core and just the regular CPI. So very bullish reaction to that. Let's take a look. This is the ES Futures and Bookmap. Here's the reaction at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's kind of hard to see because the volume dots are not really showing any transactions. Showing the beginning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, right around 53.90. And ES jumped up to right at its upper daily expected move. That's shown by the dashed blue line. So that's a very bullish reaction to the CPI data that came in less than expected, less than previous. All right, that is the CPI data. Now let's take a look at the next piece of data today, or the next event, is the FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. And of course, the press conference begins at 2:30 p.m. as my webinar will be wrapping up. This is the CME Fed Watch tool. I think it's pretty much given that the Fed will not change rates at this meeting. Current target rate, 525 to 550. And there's almost 100% chance that the FOMC holds rates at that level. So the expectation is for unchanged. All right, for the rest of the week, quickly, PPI data comes out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's PPI. And then on Friday at 10 a.m., Michigan Consumer Sentiment. All right, that wraps up news items for today. Again, I'll stop wherever I am in my presentation and go to the live market at 2 p.m. All right, so this is the ES Futures and Bookmap. Let's move on to positional analysis now, again, starting with the S&P 500. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I do want to take a look at a larger time frame. I'm going to go to SPX. This is a one-day chart. I'll go through this quickly. We've seen this before. 5-month rally began October 30th last year. Correction began April 1st, and then the rally resumed the Monday after the April options expiration. That's shown with the vertical red dash line there. So that is Monday the 22nd, and SPX continues to trade at all-time highs. All right, so that's the one-day chart. This is Thinkorswim. Now let's pick that up with a 1-hour chart. So again, the current high, intraday high for SPX, all-time high, 54.46. This chart is showing this recent consolidation right around the SPX 53.50 level. And today, SPX broke out well above that level. So SPX now is trading above the 5,400 call wall, technically overbought, also above the upper weekly expected move and the upper daily expected move. So let's take a look at those expected moves. First, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Those levels remain in place for the entire week. And again, SPX trading above that level. Then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. And SPX also trading above the upper daily expected move. Those levels also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from yesterday. And I do post those levels every day in Discord the day before. All right, so SPX, now again, trading above the call wall, upper daily expected move, and upper weekly expected move. Let's take a quick look at the Spotgamma levels on this chart. The red horizontal lines, these are Spotgamma levels. They're based on gamma-weighted open interest. They're provided to Spotgamma subscribers available on a variety of trading platforms. This is Thinkorswim, again, a 30-day, 1-hour chart. Let me point out the key daily levels. First of all, 5,300. This is the put wall. That's a strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. That's also the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with large absolute positive and negative gamma. So that's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. Just above that is the volatility trigger at 5330. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, like SPX is trading now, well above that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility and sets my expectation for more mean reverting price action rather than a strong all-day trend. And above that, and actually below price, is the call wall at 5,400. That's a strike with the largest net positive gamma. That's expected to act as resistance. And again, SPX is trading above that level, technically overbought, according to the way that Spotgamma looks at the market. And hello, Caesar. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, one thing, shifts in levels. SPX, the volatility trigger did shift slightly lower, down to 5330. And for SPY, the absolute gamma strike shifted lower, down to 530 from 535 yesterday. All right, so that is SPX. Let's wrap up our view of SPX, the underlying index, with a 1-minute chart. Get a closer look at the levels in play for today. So a big gap up, about 0.8%. Gap up. And SPX currently trading, again, above the call wall, upper weekly expected move, and upper daily expected move. So quite a bit of consolidation here after this quick move higher for the first hour. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Oh, one thing I did want to take a look at is a SPY chart as well. So this is a 1-minute chart in for SPY. Just show the reactions at SPY levels, how important they are. So this is the reaction after the CPI data, right up to SPY 542. So the yellow lines are just round number levels. Then this 546.7, that's a combo level, acted as support. And then finally this 544 level, about 4 ticks short, acted as resistance. And now this combo level acting as resistance here. And the SPY trading in a pretty narrow range between that combo level and VWAP that's shown with this blue line here. All right, so those are the SPY levels in play for today. So now let's go to Bookmap. So on Bookmap, I have all of those levels, SPY and SPX, in one column here. And here is the SPX 5400 call wall. Again, price sliced right through that level. This purple line is the ES upper weekly expected move. This blue line, again, acted as resistance. That is the ES upper daily expected move, acted as resistance after the CPI data. Here's that SPY combo level. And here's the SPY 540 call wall. So price sliced both through both call walls right after the CPI data release. All right, note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX, and today it is right around 7. So I'm showing SPX 5400, the call wall, at ES 5407. So ES minus SPX equals 7. And I do post those index relationships that I use every day in Discord. All right, so that's the SP 500. So far, resistance for the day at the SPY 544 level. All right, so those are levels in play for today. We've looked at the SPX charts from a 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute perspective. Also the SPY, the 1 minute perspective. And now this is the Bookmap ES chart that incorporates both those levels, as well as key ES levels. Looks like I need to add the ES 5450 level there. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. Shifts and levels again. For SPX, volatility trigger shifted lower, and for SPY, the absolute gamma strike shifted lower. Let's take a quick look at NASDAQ. This is the NQ futures and Bookmap. Similar reaction in NQ to the CPI data, right up to the upper daily expected move for NQ, just like ES. You can't see the label there, but that dashed blue line is there in that cluster of levels. So just like ES, NQ traded right up to its upper daily expected move and reversed lower, chopped around. Then at the open, found support at another combo level. That's this QQQ combo 4 level. And now the QQQ 475 call walls in play, acting as resistance. So let's go take a quick look at the underlying index charts. Let's go to QQQ. $473 in this combo level just above, acting as resistance along with the NQ upper daily expected move. Then support at another combo level just at the cash open that I pointed out. And now QQQ finding resistance just around the 475 call wall. All right, shifts in levels for NASDAQ. No shifts in levels for NDX. And for QQQ, volatility trigger shifted slightly lower, and the put wall, call wall, and absolute gamma strike all shifted higher. So bullish hat trick for QQQ. Let's take a quick look at NDX. Levels in play for NDX. This 19,498 combo 1 level and 500 large gamma 3 level just above that. And those align very well with the QQQ 475 call wall. All right, So again, bullish hat trick for QQQ. All right, let's wrap up our positional analysis by taking a quick look at gamma notional. This is market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. This is gamma notional for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Note all these numbers are positive. This indicates for an index that traders are short calls, market makers are long calls, hence the positive gamma. They have to trade against price. I look at this every day. This gives me a sense of potential trading range and volatility for the day. So all these numbers, again, are positive and did shift higher from yesterday. And yesterday, they shifted higher from the day before. All right, so not accounting for the CPI data, I would definitely be looking for a trading range day, mean reverting price action today. Of course, there are a couple of key events that have a larger impact, CPI and FOMC. All right, let's move on now and take a look at some setups. I've got about 9 minutes, so let's take a look at the S&P 500 first. So the levels that we've just taken a look at on my chart, that's based on static data that a gamma weighted open interest, spot gamma upstate, those levels are updated once a day overnight. And now let's move on to real-time data execution. This is the hero chart from Spotgamma. It's available to Spotgamma subscribers. Hero is HIRO, Hedging Impact Real-Time Options. So again, this is real-time data. What this chart is showing, this particular chart, it's showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of the SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. So this is the S&P 500 index hero signal. There are two lines on this chart. The white line is price for SPX, and the purple line is the hero signal. Again, hedging impact real-time options. A rising purple line indicates traders are taking positive delta options positions. They are buying calls and or selling puts. And a falling purple line indicates traders are taking negative delta options positions. They are buying puts and or selling calls. All right, let's take a quick look at this. Actually, before I do this, I do want to point out there's another version of the S&P 500 chart that paints a different picture. This is the S&P equities signal. So we have the S&P index signal and the S&P equity signal. This signal is showing a combined signal of options trades and market maker hedging activity for all 500 stocks in the S&P 500. So painting a different picture, but definitely bullish. Definitely bullish in the morning up until about 10:30. So let's take a look. I'm going to go back to the S&P 500 signal. Let's zoom in on this. This signal is typically more choppy than the S&P equity signal, but it's also bullish in the morning. Generally moving up in the morning, consolidates, and then reverses lower. Starts to move lower about 10:30, and then moves sharply lower, starting around 10:45. We're going to just go back to the S&P equity signal, and we'll just combine what we see in both. So, very bullish. Traders taking positive delta positions up until about 10:30. Slope levels off as options traders take their foot off the gas, kind of in a wait-and-see mode for the FOMC. Whoops. Sorry about that. All right, let's go to Bookmap. Go back to the S&P 500. So this is the cash open right here. 9:30. Aggressive buyers come in. Volume dots in Bookmap show market buy minus sell. Green volume dots indicate more buyers than sellers. And remember, the SB equity signal a little bit more clear. Well, actually, both were very clear in the morning. Up until about 10:30, very bullish. So first hour, very bullish. Price moves up to the SPY 544 level right around 10:30. That's right there. And then options traders and equities take their foot off the gas, and the index signal starts to move lower, and price starts to grind slightly lower. Let's take a quick look at the subchart and Bookmap. The dark blue line, cumulative volume delta. Rising, you can just see all the green volume dots, aggressive buyers coming in. A little bit of consolidation as some sellers come in, shown by the magenta volume dots. Then price breaks higher again. This move higher was also fueled by stop orders, shown by the rising yellow line, also the on-chart indicator, as well as iceberg orders. Buy iceberg orders large traders use to hide their size. Also shown by the on-chart indicator. Those numbers are not large, but they are buying. Again, iceberg orders large traders use to hide their size. All right, so very clear signal for a bullish signal for both hero signals as well as the order flow here in Bookmap. Let's take a quick look at NASDAQ. I've got about 3 minutes left. Very similar. $9.30 pullback to that combo 4 level in QQQ. Up to right around NQ 550, 19,550. Let's take a look at the hero signals. All right, just like the S&P 500, there's an index signal. This is the NASDAQ. Also typically more choppy, but definitely bullish in the morning. This combines NDX and QQQ options trades and shuts off about the same time as the S&P 500 makes lower highs, moves lower, price consolidates. Now let's take a look at the MAG 7 signal. So this is the equivalent of the index, the equity signal for the S&P 500, except this signal is showing options trades for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven. So it's only including 7 signals here and 1 combined signal. And let's shift to puts and calls. And this is clearly showing I'm going to have to jump. Go to the equities. Very similar signal. Orange line. Rising orange line shows traders are buying calls when traders buy calls, market makers take the opposite side, they sell calls, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So that's the SB equity signal. The Magnificent Seven signal is the 7 stocks known as the Magnificent Seven. Traders buying calls, market makers sell the calls. And they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, so that's what's going on so far. I'm going to shift back to the total signal and then we'll go to the S&P 500, and we'll keep this signal open for the FOMC announcement. So let's get ready for that. Go back to the S&P 500. All right, so I've got about 30 seconds until the announcement. And we'll watch as the algos parse the statement. All right, so it looks like some large traders are coming in with iceberg orders. That's showing 2,953 contracts by execution, 21 different executions. All right, here we go. Looks like we're going to need to zoom in a little bit more. And so initial reaction looks bearish. Some aggressive sellers coming in. Price down below the upper daily expected move. All right, of course, the target rate unchanged, 525 to 550 basis points. We'll watch this for a couple minutes and then see what options traders are doing. So I really don't expect the big move until until the press conference. And watching a feed from CNBC, Fed says it won't be appropriate to cut until it has gained greater confidence. I don't think that's anything new. Fed on average projecting one rate cut this year. I think maybe the market was looking for two. Yeah, Caesar says copy paste from last statement. Four Fed officials projecting no cuts this year. So of course the algos have finished parsing the statement at this point. On average, Fed projects higher rates for 2024, 2025, and long run. All right, let's see what options traders are doing. Go back to Hero. So we have the S&P 500 index signal. And if I want to see with more clarity, what I do is just zoom in. I'm scrolling my mouse wheel. So initial reaction from options traders was negative. Fed says there has been modest further progress toward 2% inflation target. All right, Hero signal, the index signal moving lower. This is just the first 3 minutes. Let's check the equity signal now. I'm going to zoom in. One thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to open. I'm going to open this. Let's go back to the S&P 500 signal so I don't have to keep zooming in on each signal. I'm going to open this one in a new tab. So we're on the index signal. Now I can zoom in and stay zoomed in. And again, I have this on the total. Now let's go to this signal, zoom in. Go to the equity signal. Zoom in. So that's the equity signal. Index signal, sharp move lower, then grinding lower. Equity signal now moving lower as well. Let's go back to Bookmap. So somewhat negative reaction from options traders. More large traders coming in with iceberg orders by iceberg orders, shown by the on-chart indicator. 1,050 contracts, 7 executions, also shown by the rising light blue line. So right now, chopper right around VWAP, that's shown here. Pretty flat VWAP as expected. After the consolidation from the quick move higher at the open. Let's check NASDAQ. Looks like NASDAQ found support at this cluster of levels that was resistance after the CPI data release, now acting as support after the FOMC announcement. Now moving lower. All right, so it looks like the market may not like the only one rate cut projection, or the projection for only one rate cut. All right, let's go back to Hero. Let's go back to the S&P 500. More large traders buying with iceberg orders. But aggressive sellers coming in, so they're large traders buying those aggressive sellers, market orders selling, and large traders buying with iceberg orders. Let's go back to Hero. The equity signal dropping. Also the index signal dropping. Pretty consistent. Sharp move lower at the open, then continues to drop. Let's check on some stocks. Apple. Another bullish move higher after the breakout yesterday. Let's check NVIDIA. Very similar pattern for NVIDIA and Apple. Bullish move at the open, 1030. Options traders take the foot off the gas. These two stocks really driving the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So the SB equity signal and Mag 7 signal, pretty similar to these two stocks. Looking at it overall today. Quick move up for the first hour, then consolidation. Let's zoom back in. All right, what does everybody want to watch? Do you want to take a look at some stocks? Let's go back to Bookmap. S&P 500, NASDAQ. I don't think there's a lot to see here until the press conference. So let's take a look at some stocks. Apple broke out yesterday. Strong move again today. Very bullish. Opening print, green volume dots, breaks above VWAP, straight shot up to 215 liquidity, limit sell orders acting as a magnet for price. 210 is the call wall. M. Zoltan wants to look at Apple, Tesla, Nvidia. Okay, here we go. Apple, big move. Go back to Hero. And I'm going to shift to puts and calls so we can get a little bit more clarity. Go to Apple. Just like yesterday, traders buying calls. That's shown by the rising orange line. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. Note the flow alerts that come in right after the open, signaling significant options activity. The breach above the 210 call wall. That's where most of the calls are concentrated. For a stock, Spotgamma assumes that traders are long calls. Market makers are short calls. As price moves above that call wall, market makers' position becomes more negative. As those calls go deeper in the money, they have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. And Apple goes up until about 11:10 when traders stop buying calls and start selling calls, and the price consolidates. So call buyers definitely driving the breakout that started yesterday in Apple. All right, let's move on to Nvidia. Similar, very similar. Flow alert, traders aggressively buying calls at the open 125 call wall breach. And in this case, they take the foot off the gas right around 10:30. Price consolidates. Very typical. Sharp move higher at the open as traders aggressively buying calls, and then they take the foot off the gas and price consolidates sometime mid-morning. All right, let's take a look at Tesla, and then we'll get to Coinbase WRB. And a bullish day in Tesla. Now, in this case, traders are buying calls, shown by the rising orange line. They're also selling puts, shown by the rising blue line. So in this case, blue line, orange line moving the same direction, very powerful directional indicator. In this case, it is bullish. Flow alert comes in. All right, let's go to Bookmap. So we took a look at Apple. Rising cumulative volume delta. Price breaks above VWAP. Traders buying calls. Checks all the boxes for a long setup. And price starts to consolidate as call buyers take the foot off the gas. Looks like this 218 level has been acting as resistance today. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. Similar. Let me tone down the volume dots just a little bit. Green volume dots, opening print, break above VWAP, shown there. Break above the 125 call wall breach. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Remember, options traders took their foot off the gas. Looks like options traders took their foot off the gas around 10:30. That's right when NVIDIA started to consolidate, making a series of lower highs. In the subchart here, I have cumulative volume delta shown by the dark blue line. Rising blue line, rising cumulative volume delta. You can see all the green volume dots. Those are aggressive buyers coming in. The other indicator that I have in the subchart here is the market pulse price change. That's shown by this up and down line. The dark red showing extremes, the negative extremes, green showing positive extremes. In an uptrend, you want to look for the negative extremes for pullback entries. So these extremes in the price change indicator do a very good job of indicating the deeper pullback entries. Let's zoom in on this just a bit more. And note here this reading in the price change indicator. Extreme, and then as price maybe moves slightly higher, more sideways, the price change indicator is rising, providing additional confirmation for a long entry. All right, so that's NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Tesla. Remember, traders are buying calls and selling puts. Price breaks above VWAP, makes a series of higher lows, higher highs, pullback entries. Indicator is sometimes preceded by the market pulse price change indicator. Tesla moves up to this 180 liquidity level. These are the limit sell orders in the order book, acting as a magnet for price. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Tesla. Oh, here we are. Yeah, Tesla again, buying calls, selling puts. And they took their foot off the gas later in the day for Tesla, just around 12:15. Stop buying calls, stop selling puts. Tesla consolidating. And WRB wants to take a look at Coinbase. Let's take a look at that. A little bit choppy hero signal, but definitely bullish. Traders buying calls and selling puts. That's shown by the rising orange line and blue line. A little bit more clear after about 10:30. Orange line, blue line moving in the same direction. That's a very powerful directional indicator. In that case, bullish. Key level here at 260. That's the call wall, key gamma strike, and key delta strike. And let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Coinbase. Coinbase, pretty choppy price action. That is, that's not unusual for Coinbase. Coinbase is a very volatile stock. I have another indicator on this chart. This is the correlation tracker that is tracking correlation to Bitcoin. In this case, I'm using Bitcoin futures. You could also use spot Bitcoin if you subscribe to one or more of the crypto exchanges. I just have, I do have rhythmic data, so I'm just using the Bitcoin futures. Let's go back and check Hero. All right, so again, 260 is the call wall, key gamma strike. That's this level right here. Acted as resistance earlier today. Price did breach above that level. After FOMC announcement, chopped around that level, now back higher. All right, let's go back to the S&P 500. Now grinding higher. Stuck in a range between SPY 542 and 543. Let's go back to Hero. We'll go to the index signal. And actually I want to shift back to total. Have to jump back. Zoom in. So choppy Hero signal here. Let's go to the equities. Also choppy signal. All right, so there's the index signal. It is moving higher. When you zoom in enough, you can see it is moving higher. Zoom into the equity signal. Also now moving higher. All right, so after the quick move down then up, both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ chopping around, traders waiting for the press conference. All right, does anyone have any other stocks they want me to take a look at? I don't think there's a whole lot to see here until the 2:30 press conference. Let's take a look at some other stocks I wanted to take a look at ARM. All right, for ARM, 150 is the call wall. Very bullish day here in ARM. Quick move up to the call wall, then some consolidation around that level. Move back down below VWAP. Then a couple of tests of VWAP. And price broke above the 150 call wall. Up to 155. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to ARM. So chop in the morning. Signal move down, then right around 11. The Hero signal leveled off. Then traders started aggressively taking options, positive delta positions right around 12. Let's shift to puts and calls. So put line pretty flat all day, but traders started aggressively buying calls right around 12. Let's go back to, so this is when ARM really broke higher above that 150 call wall, right around 12 noon when traders started aggressively buying calls. Made a quick move up to 155 in about an hour. All right, the next is Meta. and a bearish day here in Meta. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Meta. Put line, blue line, pretty flat. But traders selling calls in Meta, shown by the falling orange line. So call sellers in charge. And they take the foot off the gas about 11, and Meta consolidates, tries to move higher. Let's go back. Go back to Bookmap. Zoom in. So Meta trading below VWAP, pullback entries to VWAP as traders are selling calls. Price finds support right around the 505 level. Caesar says Apple is out of control, crazy, seeing the flow in it. Apple is typically a pretty slow mover. All right, so bearish day in Meta. We can go to, let's take a look at longer term chart for Apple. Yeah, you can see. This is a one-day chart for Apple. Bullish reaction after earnings, the earnings report, grind higher, and then this breakout yesterday. After the initial, this is with the initial reaction to the developers conference, the discussion of AI, Apple Intelligence, and then the breakout began yesterday. Yesterday, a break well above the upper weekly expected move, and the move just continues today. So that move not very characteristic of Apple. Again, usually kind of a slow grind in Apple. Go back to the S&P 500. Initial move down, up. Then I don't expect the big move to come until the press conference begins at 2:30. NASDAQ back up to the 475 call wall. We'll do a last check of hero signals, the S&P 500. Equity signal moving sharply higher now. Oops, I forgot I have the index signal here. And the index signal also moving higher. All right, last call for stocks or any questions. All right, I'm going to wrap it up so everyone can get ready for trading if you want to trade the press conference that begins in just a few seconds. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your comments. and I will see you on Friday. Thanks again. Bye.